We're following a developing story out of Tucson, Arizona, where authorities are intensifying their investigation into the mysterious disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. The case has garnered national attention, especially after the FBI executed a search at her residence amid a series of alarming developments. Nancy Guthrie, a 68-year-old retired schoolteacher, was reported missing 6 days ago. Known in her community for her active involvement in local charities and her close-knit family, her sudden disappearance has left loved ones devastated and authorities scrambling for answers. What makes this case particularly troubling is the evidence that suggests her abduction was carefully planned and executed by highly sophisticated individuals. Over the past 48 hours, law enforcement officials have uncovered new and troubling evidence. A search warrant executed at Guthrie's home revealed that her doorbell security camera had been forcibly removed. Authorities now believe that whoever was responsible knew the layout of her property and possibly cased the neighborhood in advance. Law enforcement sources say that the suspect or suspects are highly organized. The removal of the security device, along with other disturbances around her property, indicates a level of familiarity with her routines and the neighborhood's security vulnerabilities. Interestingly, neighbors have reported seeing a suspicious white van parked near Guthrie's house days before her disappearance, raising questions about whether her abductors had been monitoring her for some time.
The FBI is conducting a third search at Nancy Guthrie's home. They've just cleared the streets and have established a wider perimeter. Investigators were seen on the roof of Nancy's home, and law enforcement were also tipped off to a vehicle of interest that was caught on camera outside of a convenience store. Police are currently on the lookout for this vehicle. All this just moments after officials say they've received another critical message. The note was emailed to the same local Tucson station that received the first note. The Guthrie family had asked for proof of life.
One of the most perplexing elements of this case is the series of ransom notes that have been sent to local media outlets and law enforcement. The first note, which was received about a week ago, was well-constructed, coherent, and appeared to be written by someone with a certain level of education. The note demanded proof of life and warned that the kidnappers were in total control. Recently, investigators received a second note, which has raised even more questions. According to sources, this new letter bears a striking similarity to the first in tone and structure, suggesting it was sent by the same individual or group. The note hints that the kidnappers believe they can prove their identity through certain clues embedded within the message. However, the exact contents remain classified at this time, as officials say the note includes sensitive information. Experts analyzing the notes believe that the sophistication of the language indicates the perpetrator is not an amateur.
Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer.
The sender used a secure server to mask their IP address, making tracing efforts difficult. Law enforcement officials suggest that the sender might be deliberately trying to communicate that they are in control, warning authorities that they are capable of anything. Authorities are leaving no stone unturned. Search teams are combing through the neighborhood, checking security footage from nearby cameras, and canvassing residents for any suspicious activity. Despite the efforts, the area presents challenges. The neighborhood has very little street lighting, and many security cameras either have been disabled or removed. Law enforcement is also analyzing highway surveillance footage, trying to track Guthrie's movements before her disappearance. She was last seen being driven by her son-in-law, who dropped her off at her home after dinner. Investigators are examining whether any vehicles followed her or if any unusual activity was observed that night.
It's been 6 days, and Nancy is without her medication. And when she was abducted, she sustained a bloody injury. This negotiation, if it even is a negotiation, is becoming desperate. A final deadline was set for Monday. TMZ, who received the first alleged ransom note, has been analyzing the contents and believes they have a clue about the geography of the kidnappers. Watch.
In the letter, it says they would return her back to Tucson. So they also give a time frame of how long it would take after they received the money to return her to Tucson. If you look at the time frame, then you say, well, you can draw a circle around Tucson to see how long maximum it would take to get her back there. This is Tucson right here. If you look at this red circle, that is the radius of the maximum amount of time it would take.
Authorities are now focusing on gathering more surveillance footage from neighboring areas, analyzing cell tower data, and interviewing witnesses. The FBI is also exploring the possibility that this kidnapping is connected to other organized crime activities in the region, particularly those involving cybercrime and drug trafficking networks. The Guthrie family remains hopeful that new evidence will emerge and that Nancy will be safely returned. Law enforcement officials have set a deadline for the kidnappers to make contact, warning that patience is running thin. As the investigation continues, authorities are urging the public to remain vigilant. Anyone with information, especially those living in the vicinity of Guthrie's home, is urged to come forward. The case remains fluid, and officials say that every piece of information could be vital in bringing Nancy Guthrie home safely.